Shane van Gisbergen just lost control at Bristol Motor Speedway, and in seconds, Alex Bowman's race was completely destroyed. What looked like a normal race quickly turned into complete chaos after Van Gisbergen suddenly lost control of his car, spinning on track and collecting multiple drivers in the process. And one of the biggest names caught up in the mess was Alex Bowman. Within seconds, cars were sliding, drivers were scrambling to avoid the wreck, and the Bristol crowd watched as the race took a dramatic turn that nobody saw coming. Now fans are debating what really happened. Was it just a racing incident? Or did Shane van Gisbergen make a costly mistake that ruined the race for several drivers? Because what unfolded at Bristol has suddenly put SVG right in the middle of one of the most talked about NASCAR moments of the weekend. But before we break down exactly what happened in this chaotic Bristol moment, if you enjoy NASCAR news, race drama, and stories like this, make sure you subscribe to NASCAR Nation News and turn on notifications so you never miss the biggest moments in racing. And we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers, so if you enjoy this kind of content, your support would really help the channel grow. Now let's take a closer look at what actually happened during this wild Bristol race. Bristol is known for chaos. The half-mile track has always been one of the most unpredictable venues in NASCAR. Tight corners, heavy traffic, and constant contact mean that even the smallest mistake can trigger a massive incident. And during this race, that exact scenario unfolded. At one point in the race, Shane van Gisbergen was battling in the middle of the pack, trying to fight for position while navigating through heavy traffic around the short track. But suddenly, things went wrong. As the cars entered the corner, Van Gisbergen appeared to lose control of his car. The rear stepped out, the car started sliding, and within seconds he spun across the track. On a track like Bristol, there's almost no room to escape when something like that happens. Drivers behind him had almost no time to react, and that's when the chaos really started. Several cars were forced to check up, others tried to avoid the spinning car, and the chain reaction quickly started collecting drivers who were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. One of those drivers was Alex Bowman. Bowman was running his own race, trying to stay competitive in the field, when suddenly the spinning car of Shane van Gisbergen appeared in front of him. At that point, there was almost nothing he could do. The incident unfolded so quickly that Bowman ended up getting caught up in the wreck, damaging his car and effectively ruining a large part of his race. And as the smoke cleared and the field slowed down, it became clear that this was one of the biggest incidents of the race. For Shane van Gisbergen, this moment was especially frustrating. SVG has been one of the most talked about drivers transitioning into NASCAR in recent years. After dominating in other racing categories, many fans have been watching closely to see how he adapts to the intense, aggressive style of NASCAR racing. And on tracks like Bristol, the learning curve can be brutal. Short tracks demand precision. Drivers are constantly surrounded by traffic, bumping, battling, and fighting for every inch of track position. Even the smallest misjudgment can instantly turn into a disaster. That's exactly what seemed to happen here. Whether it was tire grip, contact with another car, or simply losing control in the corner, Van Gisbergen's spin triggered a chain reaction that affected multiple drivers in the field. And immediately, the conversation started among fans. Some people believe this was simply a racing incident, the kind of thing that happens all the time at Bristol. Others think that Van Gisbergen made a mistake that ended up hurting several drivers, including Alex Bowman. For Alex Bowman, the timing of this incident could not have been worse. Bowman has been trying to stay competitive this season, and races like Bristol are important opportunities to gain track position and score valuable points. But when a crash like this happens, it can completely destroy a driver's strategy. Instead of focusing on racing forward, the team suddenly has to deal with damage, pit stops, and trying to recover from an incident they didn't even start. That's one of the toughest parts of NASCAR. Sometimes a driver's race gets ruined simply because they were caught in someone else's mistake. And for Bowman, that's exactly what this moment looked like. As the race continued, the damage from the incident forced him to shift from racing aggressively to simply trying to salvage whatever result was still possible. As clips of the incident started spreading online, fans immediately began debating the situation. Some viewers pointed out just how quickly the incident happened, saying that Shane van Gisbergen probably had no real way to save the car once it started sliding. Others argued that Bristol demands total control, and that losing the rear of the car in traffic is always going to create a dangerous situation for the rest of the field. Either way, the moment instantly became one of the most talked about highlights of the race. And incidents like this are exactly why Bristol has earned its reputation as one of the wildest tracks in NASCAR. Moments like this also show just how difficult the NASCAR Cup Series can be. Even talented drivers like Shane van Gisbergen can find themselves in trouble when racing in tight packs at a short track. The margins are incredibly small. One slight loss of grip, one unexpected slide, and suddenly an entire group of drivers can be caught up in a wreck. That's why surviving races like Bristol often requires not just speed, but also patience, awareness, and sometimes a bit of luck. In the end, the Bristol race will be remembered for many moments, but the spin involving Shane van Gisbergen and the damage to Alex Bowman's race will definitely be one of the most discussed incidents. Whether fans see it as a racing accident or a costly mistake, one thing is certain. Bristol once again delivered the kind of unpredictable chaos that makes NASCAR so exciting to watch. And for Shane van Gisbergen, it's another reminder of just how challenging NASCAR racing can be, especially on one of the toughest short tracks in the sport. But now the big question is, will this moment simply be another racing incident that fans forget in a few weeks? Or will it become one of the defining moments people remember from this Bristol race? Because in NASCAR, sometimes a single spin can change everything.